appeared before Congress this week, and his testimony served as a microcosm for the Biden administration's priorities. He refused to say whether partial birth abortions are illegal. He declined to answer whether bodily mutilation of children for gender-affirming surgery constitutes child abuse. And he couldn't give a number for what level of illegal immigration he deemed to be appropriate. Joining me now to discuss his thoughts on this testimony and more is Congressman Bob Good. He serves on the House Committee on Education and Labor, the House Budget Committee, and he represents the 5th District of Virginia. Congressman Good, welcome back to Washington Watch.
Great to be with you, Joseph. Thanks for having me.
Well, we're thankful to have you. Now, I want to dissect Javier Becerra's visit to Capitol Hill a little bit with you. Get your thoughts on this. We can reflect on what this means for the Biden administration and really the direction of the country. And I'm going to play a clip from we're going to play clip 4 yesterday in an exchange he had in this committee. Let's go ahead and play that.
Is it child abuse to perform a sex change operation on a 12-year-old girl? Yes or no?
I'm not going down that rat hole with you.
Congressman Good, what's your reaction to that?
This is typical of the Biden administration and the members of his cabinet, where they don't want to tell the American people what they really believe. On the one hand, they want to deceive and hide for what their true intentions are, what their true beliefs and motivations are. At the same time, they're beholden to their the most extreme element of the Democrat Party, where they can't even come out and acknowledge any basic truths or any basic restrictions on the extremism of their beliefs. So just to think of that right there, that we would even have a discussion or there'd be any disagreement about the abusive, inexcusable, egregious nature of those who would facilitate, help, authorize the mutilation of the precious bodies, the way that God created these precious young children, and would not resoundingly condemn that, and of course declare it for what it is. It is all obviously child abuse.
Congressman, do you think that their reluctance to answer questions about this issue in particular is because they know Americans disagree with them?
They know that Americans, by and large, 90% of the country does disagree with the extremism of what the left has become on the transgender sexual identity, sexual orientation issue. Things that were predicted when I was a kid 40 and 50 years ago about where the radical gay agenda, what it would lead to with the redefinition of sex, redefinition of gender, with the continual moving of the goalposts on morality. The left will never be appeased, never be satisfied until absolute total immorality is embraced and celebrated in this country. While we can recognize in a free country, in a country like ours, where adults have the right to make poor moral decisions that affect only them, and that the force of law shouldn't be applied to force morality upon them, we don't have to celebrate it, embrace it, and as a nation and as a people, we still retain our freedoms to believe, as we do, to stand on Judeo-Christian principles, to stand on biblical morality, how God knows best for the family, God knows best for morality, God makes no mistakes. We respect the true science of gender. And when a child, Joseph, I said this in the very same hearing yesterday. I was there with Representative Miller. We need to speak truth, that God created two genders, God makes no mistakes, and that when a child is confused about that, we need to help them realize how God has made them. And as you know, study after study demonstrates, and experience demonstrates, most children will come around and understand how God made them and who they are. And the worst thing we can do is to reinforce that confusion, and worse yet, deceive the parents about it. And even the worst of all, to help a child with hormones or surgery, irreparable harm that we would do to them emotionally, psychologically, physically, and spiritually to that effect.
Now, in addition to sex change operations, Secretary Becerra was also asked about abortion and specifically taxpayer funding of abortion. Let's play clip 5.
Do you concede that partial birth abortion is illegal per the law?
Under the Supreme Court decision in Roe versus Wade, women have reproductive rights that they are entitled to enforce and that they are entitled to have the government respect. I will do everything I can to make sure a woman's rights in reproductive care are defended.
And that question was asked by your colleague, Congressman Banks, on that committee as well. What's your reaction to Becerra's response?
I appreciate my good friend Jim Banks pressing him on that issue to expose just how extreme the Democrat Party has become. 20, 30 years ago, you had those even like this president who claimed to be to believe in some restrictions on abortion and certainly from a federal funding standpoint, at least. But now the Democrat Party is totally radical on the issue. They believe in abortion on demand for any reason at any moment, up until and even perhaps beyond the moment of birth, and that everyone ought to be forced to pay for it through their tax dollars. And Congressman Banks' questions yesterday proved that they're not even willing to say that the practice of partial birth abortion or any kind of late term abortion should be illegal or is illegal in our country in any state. That they don't want any limits on abortion. And I was speaking to my staff yesterday, just talking about the fact we need to be more outspoken and bold and do a special order on the House floor describing what is the barbaric, gruesome process of abortion, whether it's saline injections, whether it's when they pierce the baby's skull and suck the brains out, or whether they tear a child limb from limb within its mother's womb. There's nothing humane or compassionate or benign about it. It's a terrible, vicious procedure, and we need to speak truth. We have a unique opportunity here to influence the Supreme Court, and the country, I think, is ready for Roe v. Wade to be overturned.
I think you're exactly right about that. And the facts and the truth really is on our side. And we need to wield the facts with confidence and authority, because it really is moving America our direction. Now we have just under a minute left, but quickly on Title 42, policy put in place to stop illegal immigration, specifically in the era of COVID. The Biden administration plans to revoke it. What's your reaction to that?
This president inherited a secure border, a largely secure border, an increasingly secure border from the previous president. And all he had to do was to keep, maintain, and build upon the policies that President Trump had. Remain in Mexico, ending catch and release, building the wall, securing the border. And of course, Title 42 was part of that under the China virus situation that arose. And this president has stopped enforcing our laws, of course, has stopped building the wall, eliminated Remain in Mexico, and now wants to eliminate Title 42. And it's estimated, Joseph, that'll take the daily count from 7,000 to 18,000, and we may have as many as 500,000 illegal aliens across
Congressman
our border.
Good, unfortunately, I got to cut you off. We are out of time, but thank you so much for being with us today.
Justin.
Thanks so much.
Good to be with you.